Coming up on the KBJR 6 and Range 11 News at 6, a massive winter storm has set its sights on the Northland. George Kessler will have your weather information coming up. And then Leanne Wallace brings us a story of makeovers for deserving moms. And did the UMD football team finish the regular season undefeated? Did they even play? Joe Dufek will have those answers in sports. The KBJR 6 and Range 11 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the Northlands News Center, this is the KBJR 6 and Range 11 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Trevor Roy. A massive winter storm is bearing down on the Northland, snarling traffic, causing accidents, and pretty much making life miserable for all of us. We'll have an update on the traffic conditions coming up, but first, George Kessler joins us from the Weather Garden with a first look at this crazy storm. George?
Trevor, it has been one of those days around the Northland. It is the archetypical early winter storm around the region. You've got everything. You have rain in some places. You have a rain-snow mix right down here in the Weather Garden, and you go about 3 miles up the hill and you've got 7 inches of cement on the ground. So it is a little bit of everything out there, folks, and I'm here to tell you the roads aren't great, but obviously we're going to have more on that in a second. First, just the meteorology. Here is the storm. The good news is that the storm is now past its peak. You see that it has that mealy look to it. Earlier today it was robust. You had a solid line of both rain and snow that extended all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Now a little dry air has gotten mixed in on the backside, and that's why you have these little gaps developing. The bad news is that we still have some potentially moderate to occasionally heavy snow to get through between now and tomorrow before it finally tapers off. Winter storm warning remains in effect right for the heart of the Northland. That includes the Twin Ports, but again, there's a good deal of variability when it comes down to the snow accumulations, and we might as well just talk about it. Take a look at the snow. You have the blue, which is snow. You have the green, which is rain. You see it flashing on and off in various locations, and that is probably going to continue at least for the first part of the night. But as additional cool air begins to filter in, I think accumulations will end up even down by the shore. 6 to 10 inches, though, the inland areas. Some of those lucky spots, and I'm not really being very serious about lucky, could see as much as a foot.
Great. Thank you very much, George.
You bet.
Downtown Duluth has been spared mostly from the snow, but a driving cold wintry mix has been pounding downtown Duluth, making travel difficult. Jennifer Walsh joins us live from Canal Park. And Jen, you spent most of today traveling through the Twin Ports, and in fact, you had some difficulty commuting across the Northland as well.
I did, Trevor. Driving back to the station, I did end up in the ditch. Roads are very slippery, especially in areas that haven't been plowed or salted. My car wouldn't stop with the brakes, so I just had to do my best to coast and try not to hit anything.
Well, how are the other drivers handling all this snow?
I saw a lot of drivers fishtailing and swerving. It definitely takes a while to get used to in these winter conditions. Cars are covered in fresh snow and drivers can't see or drive without wiping off their windshields. You can't fight the weather. Many Northlanders are embracing the snow and are helping others who are in sticky situations. A group of 4 men live off of Arlington Road and spent several hours today out in the snow, goofing around and helping others on the road.
Just pushing cars up the hill, trying to stay on our feet, dodge snowballs.
Now, Trevor, while I was in the ditch waiting for the tow truck, 3 people stopped and asked me if I needed any help, so people are definitely out and about. I think we all just need to remember to take it slow around the corners.
Yeah, that's good advice for any situation, Jen. Glad you made it back to the station safe and sound. And we do have one cancellation to tell you about. Tonight's performance of Godspell at Duluth Central High School has been canceled. Tomorrow's performance at 1 p.m. is still a go. Jen wasn't alone when going into the ditch. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety is reporting that more than 200 accidents have resulted from today's storm. As George said, the storm is hammering the majority of the state and following the I-35 corridor. These are just a couple of the accidents around the Northland today, including a rollover. 1 man was injured in that accident, and according to the Duluth Police Department, today's weather is responsible for several dozen minor crashes. The police want to remind everyone to slow down and drive for the conditions and allow yourself more time to get to your destination. A car accident in Bayfield County this morning snarled traffic for hours. According to the Wisconsin State Patrol, a car collision in Stefanski Road and Highway 2 shut down the eastbound lanes of Highway 2 for more than 2 hours. Law enforcement was on the scene directing traffic. No word yet if anyone was hurt. In the Twin Cities, the snow started falling last night, and it hasn't stopped. The winter storm has dropped between 4 and 8 inches of snow in parts of Minnesota. In the Minneapolis suburb of Golden Valley, drivers found road conditions to be quite challenging. The snow started falling just after midnight. The heavy snow has also caused sporadic power outages throughout Minneapolis and St. Paul. Now here's a look at the weather from across the Northland. It seems everybody is getting a little bit of something. Tim Westendorf from Hawthorne, Wisconsin sent these pictures in this afternoon. Seems they escaped the rain and instead got the snow. Tom Roy, yes, that's my dad, sent us these pictures from Sawyer, Minnesota, where he says the snow is piling up, but it's not very windy. And our Iron Range reporter, Elaine Chrysilius, sent us this picture from Hibbing. Seems no one in the Northland is escaping this messy story. In what couldn't have been a more timely event, the Gales of November took place today at the Deck. The annual event is the Lake Superior Marine Museum Association's Maritime Conference and fundraiser. The event featured displays and exhibits highlighting Lake Superior in all its uniqueness.
It's an area that grew up on the maritime heritage. If it was wanted for the lake and wasn't for shipping, there'd be no Duluth or Superior as we know it today. And so that's an important role in maritime history.
Of course, the most famous Gales of November story is the tragic sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which sunk 35 years ago. On a day like today, many of us are fortunate to be able to go inside where it's warm, maybe enjoy a meal and some companionship. But for some across the Northland, having someplace warm to sleep is a challenge. Today in Superior, a group of kind-hearted citizens are braving the storm and spending the night outdoors to raise awareness and money about homelessness in the Northland.
This is about the most central part in Superior as you could find, so we get a lot of attention here, and we're just trying to get the community to stop out. We're feeding anyone that comes by, and we're trying to get the community to become more aware of the homeless problem in Superior and Douglas County.
On any given night, roughly 600 people are homeless in Superior. Turning now to world news, a section of a camp near Haiti's presidential palace in Port-au-Prince was blocked off today amid cholera concerns. The body of an apparent cholera victim was found inside a portable toilet in the Champs de Mars camp. More than 1 million people have been living in tents since they were displaced from their homes by a 7.0 magnitude earthquake in January. The UN said this week up to 200,000 Haitians could contract cholera as the outbreak spreads. More than 800 people have died so far, and there have been more than 1,100 confirmed cases of cholera. Myanmar's military leaders signed off on Aung San Suu Kyi's release from house arrest today. Members of the ruling junta met at the pro-democracy leader at her lake house in Yangon prior to her release. The 65-year-old is one of the world's most prominent political prisoners and voice for democracy. Suu Kyi has spent most of the last 21 years in detention, and her latest period of house arrest lasted more than 7 years. Myanmar's release comes just 1 week after the country held its first elections in 20 years. Although it has been widely called a sham, Myanmar's military has claimed victory in the election. Still to come on the KBJR 6 and Range 11 News at 6, Leanne Wallace will put us in touch with 3 very deserving moms who received extreme makeovers. Stay with us. It's a familiar formula in reality TV shows. Deserving subjects are given some sort of extreme makeover, followed by the big reveal. A group of local moms adopted that concept and granted makeovers to 3 very deserving moms in Hermantown. Leanne Wallace brings us in touch with their transformations.
One by one, the newly made-over moms showed off their new looks. The spa day was put on by a group called Mothers of Preschoolers, or MOPS.
November is our favorite meeting of the year. We have a spa day where we have local hair stylists come and they cut hair, volunteer their time. We have people give massages, and then we pick ladies to give extreme makeovers to.
Each of the ladies got a little pampering. The group of about 40 women chose 3 special ladies to get a complete new look head to toe. The moms' stories all differ, but they have one thing in common. They rarely take time out for themselves.
I just felt pampered and taken care of. It was really nice, very relaxing.
Right now I'm just like glowing. It's been so fun and just surreal, and just very happy with my outcome, and love my haircut and everything. So.
Jenny Markgraf's husband has been deployed in Iraq since January. The new look comes just in time for his arrival back to the States. He's expected home next month.
Oh, I think he's going to love it. I think he's going to be very happy.
It's just a good feeling for us to do something nice for them, to lift them up and to bless them with something to make them feel so good.
But in true mom fashion, even throughout the process of haircuts, new outfits, and pampering, their families were still in the back of their minds.
It was really nice to actually focus on myself. Makes me feel really good, so I'll be completely rejuvenated to go home and take care of them now.
In Hermantown, Leanne Wallace, the Northlands News Center.
MOPS meets twice a month at Hermantown Community Church. The group offers support, speakers, childcare, and friendship for moms with kids preschool age or younger. We're going to take a quick break here, but we'll be right back with Joe Dufek for a look at your sports, including some cancellations due to the big storm.
Northland Sports Report starts now with Joe Dufek.
The weather made an impact in college football. UMD's game at Mankato was postponed due to the weather. 6 to 10 inches of heavy snow in Mankato made field conditions unplayable. The game has been moved to 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to be played in Marshall. By the way, UMD's volleyball match at Mankato also postponed. That will not be made up. In Division III, St. Scholastica finished the season against Westminster in Missouri 34-28. Saints finishing the year with their first 4-game winning streak in the program's history. CSS ending with a 7-3 record. In the Big Ten, the Gophers were in Illinois battling the Fighting Illini. DeLeon Eskridge with a huge game for the Gophers, 3 touchdowns as Minnesota wins their first game of the conference season with a 38-34 victory. They are now 2-9. Meanwhile, the Badgers all over Indiana today. Monte Ball, 167 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Scott Tolzien threw for another 3 scores as Wisconsin tied the Big Ten record for most points scored. 83 today, 83-20. They roll. They are now 9-1. In high school football, last night the Moose Lake Will River Rebels fell in the state quarterfinals. Today, 3 other Northland squads battling for trips to the Metrodome. In 9-man action, Mountain Iron Buell faced Cromwell at PSS. Of course, the lovely weather made for some nasty conditions on the gridiron. Cromwell fans had plenty to cheer about, however, in the first half as the Cardinals jumped out to a 22-0 lead. We pick it up in the third quarter. Cromwell quarterback Jordan Sunanen with a 10-yard touchdown run to make it 28-zip. Then in the fourth quarter, Sunanen with a 35-yard scoring scamper, capping a 5-touchdown game. He suffered a broken leg right on the same field a year ago. That puts him up 36-0. MIB quarterback Ryan Burra with a quarterback sneak to prevent the shutout, but Cromwell advances with a 36-6 victory. Cardinals are now 7-4. MIB finishes the year at 10-2.
It started with our line. They got the blocks done, and then our backs could get blocks, and all of us got really good blocks and could make cutbacks. It means a lot to us. It's Cromwell tradition to get to the Dome, and we're excited to be here. It's a dream of all of ours to get there.
I think our guys know, our guys being seniors, and our goals all season were to win section and get back at the Dome because these seniors had never been there. I think that they were so focused on our goal that it didn't bother them.
Meanwhile, the Barnum Bombers in the Class 1A quarterfinals down in St. Cloud faced defending champs Minneota. The Vikings showed why they are the defending champs, knocking off Barnum 45-6. However, Barnum finishing a great year at 10-2. College hockey, UMD looks to complete a sweep over Michigan Tech tonight. The Bulldogs rallied from a 2-goal deficit with 5 straight to pull off a 5-3 win last night. Justin Fontaine scored 2 goals for UMD. Tonight's game again can be seen on My 9, coverage beginning at 7 o'clock. In basketball, UMD men opened the year at Division I foe Wisconsin Green Bay. Bulldogs fell 75-36. Jake Hottenstein led UMD with 9 points and 6 rebounds. Ramon Fletcher had a game-high 16 for Wisconsin Green Bay. And in the NBA last night, Kevin Love had an incredible game in leading the Minnesota Timberwolves to a 112-103 victory over the New York Knicks. You heard of a double-double? Well, Love recorded the first 30-30 games since 1982. 31 points and a team record 31 rebounds in the win. By the way, the Bucks host the Golden State Warriors tonight. And Trevor in Division III men's soccer, St. Scholastica making their first ever appearance. They're going to be taking on Augsburg tonight. Of course, that regional being held in Whitewater.
Next thing you know, Kevin Love's going to be dyeing his hair and getting piercings just like Dennis Rodman pulling down those boards.
Yeah, well, he probably needs a few more games before he be able to get away with it.
Thanks, Joe. Still to come, how long is this storm supposed to last and what can people expect for the rest of the evening? George is back in a flash with your extended Weather Now forecast.
Men's wardrobe provided by Mainstream Fashions for Men, where all men are created equal, and then we get dressed. Mainstream, now featuring Hart, Schaffner, and Marks, downtown Duluth. Weather Garden designed by Peterson's Gardens and Landscapes. 55% off sale. Special fall and holiday events. New dried flowers and antiques garden room. PetersonsGardens.com for details. Time now for your exclusive Weather Now forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
It's a good day to have a beard.
Yeah, you know what? It is. I get so much grief for the beard, but yeah, in days like this, I really like to ski. And so, you know, I can neither keep my mouth shut nor hold still, so I'm a very, very poor hunter. But I do like to ski, and so the beard is helpful.
I wish I could grow one.
Well, there you go. You can actually have mine, because I really just dislike shaving too, which is part of it. And I think most people with beards would probably say that. But you're right. Yeah, it's good beard day. It is also a good day to be a meteorologist, because it has been a very interesting weather system that we've had. Now, I realize that there's been a lot of stress and a lot of strain for motorists, and I'm in no way trying to diminish that. I'm just looking at it from a scientific perspective. This storm has been very compact, but it could not have hit us more directly. It went right up the center of Minnesota into the northern parts of Wisconsin. If it had been farther into Wisconsin, the area wouldn't have been cored the way it was. So really, this is the track. And the heart of the system is right here, just about over Eau Claire, down to our south, wrapping around. We've passed the peak. We haven't exactly hit the use-by date, but the storm is definitely on the decline. It's still getting a feed of moisture, but that moisture is having to go a long way to make it into the center of the storm, and a lot of dry air can get mixed in along the way. So the storm is going to be fading slowly, but that doesn't mean that it's done by any stretch of the imagination. We're still going to see some moderate to heavy snow through the evening hours and probably into the early morning hours as well, and then we'll have lingering snow during the day tomorrow. So it's going to be around for a little bit. Winter storm warnings going through central Minnesota on up to the Arrowhead, over through Bayfield County and Washburn counties, back through Sawyer and Burnett counties. Snowfall amounts have been variable. It just depends on where you are. I live up in Hermantown. I had 7 inches in the yard, had an earlier report from Hawthorne of 7.5 inches, and that's just through about the middle part of the storm. Here's what we're looking at as we go farther into the future. Again, 6 to 10 inches with some isolated spots in the higher terrain, seeing a little bit more than that. Now that it's dark and there's a little bit more cool air feeding into the backside, I think we'll have 1 to 3 inches down by the shore. So if you drive up the hill, you're going to go from nothing right now to a big old mess in a hurry. And then amounts tail off very quickly because that storm system has a very defined western edge to it. 32 in Duluth, 33 in I Falls, 34 in the cities. The drill down temperatures, you're either at or slightly above freezing in Minnesota, a few degrees above in Wisconsin. That's what's been keeping your accumulations down. Also, you've had some dry air working its way into the system. The feed of warmth into it is also slowly being pushed off to the east with this front, and that's also going to eventually choke off the supply of moisture. So that's just going to be an issue as we go forward. A quick look at the statewide snow tracker. More lingering snow down by the cities now. We are going to be seeing, I think, larger amounts as we go farther to the north, because the heart of the storm system is up here. So if for some reason you have a trip planned tonight, which would probably be unwise, down to the cities, the snow will get lighter as you get to the south. But there's still quite a bit here, and even though it's starting to get ragged, it's not going to be the complete end of the road for the accumulating snow for quite a while. You look in here, you see those darker spots. That's where you have that moderate to occasionally heavy bursts of snow. Still some rain mixed in, but I think it will become all snow for everyone. We have to take a short break, but we will have more on the forecast right after this. Moving through the day on Sunday, the storm winds down, heads off to the north. Generally speaking, the snowfall amounts will be lighter, although with the winds coming around to the north-northwest, there could be little fingers of aggravated snowfall making their way into some of those snowbelt areas, northern Wisconsin and the UP, but it will be heading out. However, unlike our usual patterns where we get one storm and then they're gone, this time, not so much on that. It looks like another clipper could come our way. Much lighter snow, obviously, but already on Tuesday we have one on tap, and if that's not enough, Parade Day could be a little entertaining. We'll have to wait and see. Tonight's lows down in the 20s in the north, 30s across Wisconsin, mix and snow. The other thing I should point out is that we are seeing some ice develop underneath up on the hill. So where it was wet earlier, it is now it's icy underneath. So you got to be careful because the transition from wet roads down the hill to ice up the hill is not exactly labeled. So you can sometimes get that the hard way. Looking to the future, the snow will be ending tomorrow. Again, total accumulations generally 6 to 10 through the middle and then lesser amounts as you go both directions. The one area that could see more aggressive snow tomorrow is beyond Bad River out to through the snow belt areas in the Ironwood area. Looking ahead, Monday will clear out, temperatures not bad, seasonable, and then on Tuesday a chance of some more snow, and then the really cool air arrives, and I think we will not see temperatures hit freezing for the remainder of the week once we get past Tuesday. And I think if you live over the hill, your snow is here to stay, and we could see a little bit more not only Tuesday but on Friday, so it might be an eventful parade day, and I think you've probably seen the last of your lawn on the hill until sometime in April.
Yikes.
Well, it happens. It's November. It's that time of year.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, George. Yep. That's all she wrote for the news here at 6, but we'll be back at 10. Until then, you can get more news and weather anywhere, anytime, northlandsnewscenter.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.